Getting convicted and ending up in court is already a big deal. Judges and the jury expect the people who are charged guilty to at least show a little remorse and humility during their proceedings. But given the nature of people, some don't feel the need to act respectfully even after being charged with a crime in court. Let's count down the top 6 most disrespectful defendants in court. At number 6, we have Spencer Allen Boston and his marijuana stunt. In a Lebanon, Tennessee courthouse, Spencer Allen Boston made headlines when he appeared to answer to charges of marijuana possession. But he didn't just come with the drugs, he decided to light up a joint in the middle of the courtroom, shocking the judge, court officers, and everyone else present. Wilson County Sheriff Robert Ryan was especially taken aback, telling the media, "It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen." Yet despite the chaos, Boston took the opportunity to make a statement, proclaiming that marijuana should be legalized in Tennessee. Unfortunately, his stunt caused him to be booked on the second charge of simple possession, and he was found in contempt of court. As a result, he must serve 10 days behind bars. Spencer Allen Boston made a bold statement that he won't soon forget. At number 5, we have Alan McCarty shouting at the judge. Alan Miller McCarty was found guilty on all counts of his threats to kill another judge who had previously ruled in a custody case. After McCarty had yelled, interrupted, and insulted the presiding judge, he was forced to watch the trial from behind one-way glass in a small room. The move earlier in the day to the adjacent room didn't help much, as McCarty continued to shout expletives and curse the presiding judge, the witnesses, and the entire judicial system. The jury of 3 women and 3 men only took about 30 minutes to find McCarty guilty on 2 counts of threats or extortion and 2 counts of corruption by threat against a public official. In addition to the judge, McCarty threatened 2 dispatchers in his phone calls. When the guilty verdicts were read, McCarty, who could face up to 40 years in prison when sentenced by Circuit Judge Matt Foxman, remained unusually quiet while flanked by deputies. McCarty is also facing further charges since he is accused of calling Stuart Marchman Act behavioral health care and threatening staffers there. At number 4, we have Michael Ray's foul outburst in court. In a Jefferson County courtroom, Michael Scott Ray, a 36-year-old Kentucky man, had a foul-mouthed outburst captured on surveillance video. During his bond hearing for charges of terroristic threatening, second-degree assault, and 2 lesser counts, Ray threatened to beat up the female judge. Then, a minute into the hearing, Ray got upset after the prosecution asked the judge to set his bond at $25,000. As a result of his outburst, Ray now faces an additional 6 charges. His aggressive and inappropriate behavior is unacceptable and will be met with consequences. The suspect scoffed audibly in the courtroom, prompting the judge to ask him sternly, "You think that's funny?" "I think that's hilarious," he replied, before walking away. In response, the judge declared that Ray must be held on a $50,000 bond, adding, "He's lucky I didn't hold him in contempt. He thinks these are funny charges." A minute later, when Ray returned to the courtroom, he screamed at the judge, "I hope I see you on the streets." He then showed the judge the middle finger twice, prompting her to hold him in contempt and sentence him to 100 days in jail. As a court officer led him away, the seething suspect made the situation even worse for himself, yelling, "If I see you outside on the street, I'm gonna smack the fuck out of you." The judge then had Ray brought back again before her and tacked on another count of terroristic threatening to his already lengthy roster of charges. As a result, Michael Ray now faces a total of 10 charges. The judge also raised his bond amount to $75,000. At number 3, we have Wright smiling in court during his hearing. A Washtenaw County judge sent a stern message to an Ann Arbor man during his sentencing. There would be no smiling in the wake of the shooting death of an Ann Arbor high school student. Wright, 17, had been seen grinning while the mother of slain Pioneer High School student Jordan Klee wept in court, prompting Judge David S. Swartz to give prosecutors time to reconsider their plea and sentence agreement for 25 to 52 years in prison. "Watching you sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted just to say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement," Swartz said. "We'll go to trial, and if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do." The judge's stern rebuke served as a stark reminder that in a court of law, there is no place for smiling in the face of a tragedy such as the death of Jordan Klee. Wright had smiled and shaken his head, seemingly encouraged by a loved one in the courtroom, as Klee's grandfather, weeping mother Karen Klee, and her cousin addressed him with their victim impact statements. This year was supposed to be a year of celebration. Instead, it was a nightmare, Karen Klee said, according to the statement read by her cousin. When Wright had a chance to address the court, he said he wanted his plea and sentence agreement and he'd be home soon. He also said he loved his family. Wright's face fell for the first time when Assistant Washtenaw County Prosecuting Attorney John Vella asked for time to consult the Klee family on whether they'd like Swartz to reject the plea deal and send the case to trial. Ultimately, Vella said following a nearly hour-long break that the family wanted Swartz to sentence Wright through the agreement so they could move on and attempt to forgive Wright. David Goldstein, Wright's attorney, told Swartz his client wanted him to apologize on his behalf and attributed the smiles to fear, his age, and behavioral problems. At his age, in his condition, he might not be able to express it as well as some other defendants, he said of the fear and remorse. Eventually, though, he reiterated his concern with Wright's level of remorse. Swartz sentenced Wright to 23 to 50 years in prison for armed robbery, conspiracy to commit armed robbery, and second-degree murder. Wright will also serve 2 years in prison for a charge of felony firearm. At number 2, we have Amanda Kosel laughing in court for murder charges. Donna Kosel was sentenced to 93 days in jail after a judge caught her laughing during a family's victim statement at her daughter's deadly DUI sentencing. After spending a night in jail, Kosel returned to court to face Judge Kiana Lillard, where she tearfully apologized for her outburst. "I deeply apologize for what I did. I was under a lot of stress. I just needed to get out," Kosel told the judge. Judge Lillard hit back, saying, "What you have to understand is that as hard as this is for you to see your baby go to prison, imagine what that family feels like when their child is dead." Kosel was released after just one night, with Judge Lillard noting that the apology and understanding of her actions were genuine. She had initially been thrown out of the courtroom, along with her unidentified boyfriend, when the victim's sister took the stand and read a statement on behalf of his 5 children. Video from inside the courtroom showed the judge losing patience with the man and Kosel after she caught them smirking. She then ordered officers to bring the mother back in so she could sentence her to 93 days behind bars for contempt of court. Judge Lillard slammed the pair for being disrespectful. "It's time for him to go," the judge could be heard saying in the video. "I don't know who he is, but whoever can sit here at a tragic moment like this and laugh and smile when somebody has lost a family member? In the entire time that Mr. Zerker's sister was speaking to that clown, and that's what I'm going to call him, a clown, sitting there smiling and laughing." At number 1, we have Tobias Roman threatening to murder the judge. 27-year-old Fresno resident Roman is facing an additional charge of threatening a Kern County Superior Court judge after allegedly uttering the words, "I'm going to murder you when I see you," to Judge Charles R. Bramer during his arraignment. This comes in addition to the several felonies he is already facing in connection with a reported stalking incident at Valley Plaza Mall. At the beginning of his court appearance, Roman acted strangely and refused to stand up when the judge called his name, claiming his foot hurt. When asked for his name, he responded, "Tobias is my first name. That's it. Giggles or Tobias. That's it. Don't call me nothing else." Roman now faces a possible sentence of life imprisonment with the possibility of parole if convicted of all charges. As Bramer began listing the charges against him, Roman said the accusations were lies. Bramer told Roman he needed to be quiet during the proceedings. "Yeah, you need to be quiet," Roman told the judge. If you liked our content, remember to subscribe to our channel and comment below the most disrespectful defendant according to you.